Hi Year 5. So, the last time when we read Oliver Twist, we got to the section where Mr. Bumble had locked Oliver in the cells, and there he remained for over a week, sobbing and cold. So now we move on to pages 8 and 9, as you can see here. Just like last time, I will scan those for you and I'll pop a copy on the class pages as well, so you can have a look at all the little bits of detail. Okay, so finally, Mr. Sowerberry, the local undertaker, agreed to take Oliver on. Mr. Bumble was delighted. For supper, Mrs. Sowerberry, a mean woman, gave Oliver scraps she'd kept by for the dog. Then she told him to make his bed among the coffins. Oliver felt as if he were lying in a graveyard. The next morning, he met Mr. Sowerberry's assistant, Noah Claypole. Noah was a big bully. Undertaking was a busy trade in those days. Many people died of illness or starvation. Oliver measured coffins, collected bodies, and attended funerals. Noah was jealous, as Mr. Sowerberry used Oliver more than him. One day, Noah went further than usual in his taunts of Oliver. He insulted his dead mother. Meek, tiny Oliver turned into a ball of fury. He attacked Noah with all the force he could muster. Mrs. Sowerberry rushed to Noah's aid, and they pummelled and scratched Oliver. Noah fetched Mr. Bumble and Mr. Sowerberry. Mr. Sowerberry beat him, but Oliver would not cry. That night, alone among the coffins, he fell to his knees and wept. Early next morning, he packed a small bundle, slipped out into the street, and set off for London. 7 days later, Oliver limped into Barnet, just outside London, and collapsed on a step. A strange boy in huge clothes came over to talk to him. His name was Jack Dawkins, but he liked to be called the Artful Dodger. He said he knew a man in London who would be happy to let Oliver stay with him. The Dodger would not enter the city till after nightfall. He led Oliver through a maze of winding streets. Even in the dark, Oliver could see and smell how filthy and wretched they were. He began to wonder whether he should run away. Then the Dodger drew him in to a doorway. Right, I'm going to pause there. We will continue the rest of page 9 in the next session, but I'm going to switch off here, and if you can carry on with today's lesson plans.